Hello everyone, my name is Bhaskar. I represent Visaco GMAT GRE preparation. In this video, we're going to be looking at the German visa explained, right? The journey from being a student in Germany to becoming a citizen of Germany. Let's run through the process. Let's look at the opportunities that Germany offers. This video is brought as a part of the new initiative by Visaco called MyAdmit. What is MyAdmit? MyAdmit is an admissions consulting, admissions advice service which provides assistance to you in terms of applying to schools, applying to programs outside India for undergraduation, post-graduation education, and also provides you with essay rating and SOP rating services. For more details on what services MyAdmit offers, visit this website myadmit.visaco.com. Let's dive into this video. The motive behind this video is, many of us know a lot about what happens in the US context from a student visa to a citizen, right? We know you go in with a F1 visa as a student, then once your education is complete, you can apply for what is called the OPT program, which lets you work for about 12 months in the US. Then you can actually, if it's a STEM program, you get another 24 additional months, that's a total of 36 months. Then you can get an H1B permit, that's through a lottery, and then you can become a green card holder, which is the equivalent of a PR in Canada or Australia, and subsequently you can actually become a citizen of US. We know the bits and pieces, or at least the broad outline is known to us. Fine print is obviously something that we may not know. Many of us may not know the details even in the broadest sense when it comes to Germany. Germany today is turning out to be a brilliant education destination for all forms of education. It's not just for engineering. A couple of our students went to Germany to study from a business school called ESMT. They're in love with the country, they're in love with the school. The school has provided them with brilliant opportunities. In fact, in one of the videos, we'll get them to be on board and share their experiences about doing an MBA in Germany and what opportunities they've got post that and about that school probably in specific, right? Now let's get on to this. This particular video, I've broken it down into 5 parts. And all 5 parts are equally important and relevant at different stages. The first one is, as a student, do you get to work to supplement your finances in Germany? Is it legal? What kind of work can you take up? For how long can you take up? How much is taxed? How much is not taxed? What is the typical average living expenses? And can that get covered with this working rules? We'll look into it. Subsequently, you've finished your undergraduation or master's or an MBA. You're looking for a job. Does Germany let you stay in the country looking for a job after your graduation? Or you become persona non grata the day your student visa expires? How does it work? Is Germany an attractive destination on that count? Third, what are the work permit, the equivalent of H1B of US? Does Germany have something like that? See, Germany is a part of the EU bloc. Is the work permit that you get in Germany, is it fungible? Can you transfer it to some other country, let's say France or Denmark? Is it allowed? What is allowed? What is not allowed? Who is qualified to get that kind of a transferable one? We'll look at that as a third stage. Fourth, the equivalent of green card or a PR, right? Can you settle practically in Germany? What is the qualification? How long should you have worked or stayed in Germany to get to that particular status? And finally, if you do all of these things, the opportunities in Germany have been so good, you have lived there, you made it your second home, you want to become a citizen of that country. Does Germany allow someone to become a citizen of that country after a period of time, after a particular qualification? There are some countries which do not permit you to become a citizen of that country, however long you stayed in that country. Is Germany one such country, or is the path to becoming a citizen of Germany? These are the 5 themes you're going to be looking at it. Let's get started with entering Germany as a student. Can you supplement your finances? Yes, Germany lets you work for 120 full days or 240 half days. This limit does not apply to student assistants and research assistants. So there is no upper limit for them. You can work all through the year. So that's perfectly permitted. What kind of a work is permitted? You have to be working in an organization. That's the most important thing. You cannot claim to be working as a freelancer or as an entrepreneur. That is not permitted for non-EU citizens. I'm focusing on people from India, from Asia, who are going for higher education into Germany. So this is not applicable to us. You cannot be a freelancer. You cannot be an entrepreneur. You can work for a company. You can work for a shop. You can work for an organization. 120 full days or 240 half days. You're permitted to work, right? Upper limit on earnings without tax, that's up to 450 euros is what you can earn. It's not the limit on what you can earn in a month, right? You take up that kind of a job that pays you even 1,500 euros because let's say you can do like some coding in like Python and some organization is employing you part-time to do that, you can earn it. The only thing is the non-taxable component is up to 450 euros. If it exceeds that, you'll have to pay a tax. Typically, what's the cost of living for a student in Germany? It's anywhere from 850, 860 euros to up to 1000 euros, right? So if you can supplement even part of it with part-time or like part of the year full-time employment, that comes in handy in terms of what finances you need to provide. Why am I talking about the living expenses particularly? Because many schools in Europe, I seem to be coming to US because that's usually the country we keep talking about. Many public universities in Germany, they provide you education free of cost, right? For example, you want to do masters in engineering, the education in a public university, the TU9 universities, it's practically, you don't have to pay anything for the tuition fee. What you need to cover is basically your living expenses. So you can work part of the year, either full days or part-time for the 240 days, you can supplement it, that's good to go. Germany provides you with an opportunity to do that. Now that you have completed your education, it could be undergraduation, it could be post-graduation in engineering, it could be an MBA, it could be a medical education. Can you look for a job? What are the opportunities available for you? The deal in Germany is really, really sweet. Right? You can apply for this post-study work visa as you are a student before your student visa expires. You wouldn't need this, you can move to the next stage. We'll look at what that stage is. If you landed up a job even before you graduated, right? You got a campus placement during the final part of your education, that you can convert it into the next stage. We'll see what that next stage is. You don't need this work visa. But let's say you graduated from Germany from a program and you haven't got a job at that point in time. It gets you this work visa, but lets you stay in Germany for 18 months prospecting for a job. It's not tied to an employer. It does not demand you to be working. It lets you look for a job. That's the beauty about it. You studied there, you're looking for a job. You probably tried the first job, you did not like the job, you want to shift another job. You can do all of those things for this 18 months. You can experiment with places within Germany, companies within Germany, types of jobs within Germany, that at this 18-month expiry of this work visa program, if you land up with a job, then you can switch to the next stage where you actually get what is known as a residence permit to work there, right? So it is basically employer agnostic. It allows you to do part-time work. It lets you stay for 18 months looking for a job and experimenting. What a sweet deal. You cannot expect anything more than that, right? The beauty about this, unlike the OPT program in US, the OPT program in US also lets you do this, lets you at least a 12-month window to stay there, but it says that the cumulative unemployment period there cannot exceed 90 days. Such a cap is not existent when it comes to Germany, right? It gives you a free hand to that extent, right? So you graduated from Germany, this is the second stage, you are looking for a job, you had a 1.5 year window to look for a job, and you jolly well will be able to find one, because if you graduated from a good school, if you've done justice to your education, you will land up with a job. The beauty about this 18 months is you're not under pressure. And it also gives you the freedom or the choice to probably try a couple of jobs and then make the choice as to what is going to work for you. That's a lovely thing to happen. From here, let's move on, right? That no cap on unemployment days. That's what I mentioned about the 90-day cap in OPT, which does not exist in Germany. Now you've found a job that you like, you can get what is known as visa for employment. There are two categories of visa for employment. The first one is a residence permit for taking up employment in Germany. The second one, we'll look at it in a while. This lets you work for up to 4 years. This visa is valid for a maximum of 4 years. If you get a contract to work there for, let's say, 36 months, then the visa is valid for 36 months. If you get it for 48 months, it's for 48 months. But this visa, the overall time that you can stay on this visa for employment, this residence permit, is for a duration of 4 years. That's a maximum that you can be there. The second category is what is known as EU Blue Card, which also lets you the same 4 years. The one small difference is, if the contract is for a period of, let's say, 36 months, the visa duration is for 36 plus 3, which is 39 months. Here it will be only for 36 months. That's the difference between the two. Who gets this EU Blue Card? We'll look at that in the next slide. It's for highly trained individuals, right? These are the primary differences between the two. But the fundamental difference that you need to understand is this. This first category is for taking up employment within the geographical boundary of Germany. Right? You cannot use this residence permit that you got in Germany to find a job, even if it is for a shorter duration, let's say in France or in Denmark. Whereas if you get a EU Blue Card in Germany, you can work in Germany as much as this residence permit will let you do. For a duration of this, during this contract period, you can actually go and work in France. For example, you're working for a multinational company. You've been employed in Germany initially, and then they want to transfer your employment, they want to loan your employment for a couple of years to, let's say, their same plant in France. You don't need to get a separate work permit in France. This EU blue card will let you transfer your employment from here to there. The only thing is you need to inform the immigration authorities in Germany that you're going to be doing this. This is allowed up to a period of 2 years to move from Germany to work elsewhere, right? So this is a beauty about it. It is fungible, it is transferable. That's the beauty about this blue card. So EU blue card is a residence permit like the German residence permit. The first category permitted you to work only within Germany. Here it lets you work for temporary periods of time outside Germany without necessarily looking for another work permit, provided that country in which you are getting that employment is a EU blue card participating country, right? That's obviously the necessity that you need to qualify for. Provides greater mobility on two counts. One, in terms of this employment opportunities, as I had mentioned. The second thing, travel within the Schengen countries is possible if you have a EU blue card issued from Germany. Why am I making this as Germany? It is true for other countries too. The EU blue card can be issued by all participating EU countries, but the blue cards issued by a few countries such as Romania, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Croatia will not let you travel freely within the Schengen region. We are talking about German visas, so if you get a EU blue card within Germany, you are free to travel within the Schengen region without a problem at all. And you can also work for up to 2 years with this work permit, this EU blue card that you got, let's say in France, in Denmark, or any of these EU blue card participating countries. What's the criteria for it? The eligibility criteria is that you should have a tertiary education and or professional experience of 3 years plus in the profile that you choose to work for. Cut to the chase. What it essentially means is, if you have done a master's or an undergraduation program or an MBA or a medical education program from Germany, you qualify for this tertiary education program. So you are considered a highly skilled workforce that EU would want to have it, and it is therefore fungible. You should have an employment contract, and it should be a binding employment offer. It cannot be something loosely defined, right? It should say that you have been this contract is for so many years or so many months, and you'll be paid so much during this period, right? That is very important. And the third thing is, they want to make this offer to people who are getting a financial emoluments, right? Which is about, thumb rule is about 1.5 times what the average salary per year for a person in that particular country is. This number therefore is going to be a moving number. The number as on date of the video for someone applying for a EU blue card from Germany is 56,800 euros. So if your annual salary packet is 56,800 or more euros, then you qualify for this particular category. If it is less than that, you might have tertiary education, you might have a binding contract, then you cannot apply for a EU blue card. You can actually apply for the residence permit and work within Germany. The benefits that you get with the EU blue card is probably not going to be there. Of course, this minimum number can be shaved off significantly if you come from mathematics, IT, natural sciences, human medicine, and engineering. If you come from one of these professional categories, then that number reduces significantly. It's down to 44,304 euros. That's a number for applying for a EU blue card from Germany. If you have a tertiary education, you have a binding employment contract, and you have an annual pay packet, which is either 57,000 euros for other forms of aging. Let's say you're a banker, you need to have 57,000 euros to qualify for a EU blue card. Whereas if you're an IT professional, the same number might be probably about 45,000 euros, right? So this gives you a picture about what EU blue card is, what are the benefits of it, how do you qualify for it. It is another work permit, only that it permits you to work for temporary periods of time in other participating countries. But the criteria is a little more stricter to get this than the residence work permit, which is for working within Germany. You have worked here, you have worked for the 4-year maximum duration that they have allowed. Can you convert this into the equivalent of a PR, which is called the settlement permit? Yes, the residence work permit people, German residence permit people, which is working within Germany, they are eligible for it, provided they have worked for 4 years plus in Germany. If you are a EU blue card holder, this number comes down. This is 48 plus months. That comes down to 33 months if you have a EU blue card. And it gets reduced further. See, look at it. This is 4 years. 21 months is 1 year and 9 months, provided you have a EU blue card and you have finished B1 level of German proficiency. So if your German language is good, you have EU blue card, in 1 year and 9 months, you can actually shoot to get the German permanent residence, or basically the settlement permit in Germany, right? So these are the things. What are the other criteria? Some mandatory criteria: you should be employed so that you don't depend on the state, you actually contribute to the state meaningfully. Living expense, you have adequate income to cover for your living expenses, you contribute to the statutory pension and insurance, you have at least A1 level qualification as far as the German language goes, and pass the life in Germany. These are basically mandatory criteria. I've just listed them down for you to know, but the key thing to note is, If you have a residence permit in Germany, it's 4+ years. If you have a blue card, it is 33 months. It gets shaved off significantly. It's down to 1 year and 9 months if you finish B1 level of German proficiency. So if you're planning to move to Germany, my sincere suggestion is, even while you're in India, get started with your German proficiency. If you land in Germany with a B-level German proficiency, you have a lot more advantage in terms of finding a job, in terms of getting a blue card, in terms of converting it into a settlement permit in a shorter duration of time. Now you've worked, you've got the settlement permit, practically a permanent resident of that place. Can you become a citizen of Germany? Can you get a German passport? Yes, that is possible. You have to have worked for at least 8 years, which means that you could have worked either with a residence permit, which is renewed over, or with a settlement permit. You should be a settlement permit or a residence permit holder. And you should have sufficient funds to cover, so that you're not dependent on the state, and you have basic German proficiency. If you have all of these things, then you can actually shoot to get a German citizenship and get a German passport, which basically gives you a host of benefits in terms of your mobility. There are a lot of countries which will let you enter that country without a visa with a German passport. So those benefits come along the way. If you've stayed that long in Germany or worked that long in Germany, Germany is probably your second home, and it might make sense for you to, at that point, look at applying for a German citizenship. So quickly recap what all we did, right? As a student, you entered Germany. With the student visa, you are allowed to work part-time or full-time. You can work 120 full days or 240 part days. Up to 450 euros per month, you are not even taxed, right? So you can work legally and supplement your finances during your study. Then, finished your education, you have 18 months to prospect for a job. It is employer agnostic. It is not dependent on an employer. You can switch jobs during that time, find the ideal fit. You can figure out what works for you, what you are good at, and then take the job where you contribute meaningfully and you also enjoy. Then you want to work in Germany, there are 2 visas or permits which are available. One that's restricted to working within Germany, that is available for most people who can get a job, right, and it is valid for the duration of the work contract. Second is what is called the EU Blue Card, which is for people who are highly skilled, right, which comes with a tertiary education, 3+ years of professional experience in the area, and if you get 56,000 or 57,000 odd euros a year, if you come from a general profession or from specific professions, it could be as low as 45,000 euros is your emoluments for a year, right. The EU Blue Card lets you mobility both in terms of travel within the Schengen region and in terms of finding temporary placement into other countries which are EU participating countries. To know which are the EU participating countries in this Blue Card program, go to this website called apply.eu. It gives you a whole lot of information that you need to know about it, right. As a student, as you're starting, you need to know the possibility, the lay of the land that is available to you. You might choose to come back to India at this point, you might choose to come back to India at this point, or you might want to live there for long enough. In a period as short as 21 months, you can take a shot at being a permanent resident of Germany. That's provided you have B1 level qualification in the language and you are a EU Blue Card holder, you can basically apply for it. And lastly, if you have been in Germany for 8 years and worked in Germany for 8+ years, you can apply for a citizenship and become a citizen of Germany, right. So the process is more or less clear to us. Yes, there are quite a few fine prints which you have not covered. You have to read through the fine print, but at least you know, is there a path? Can I work? Can I supplement my costs? Can I wait there in Germany looking for a job if I don't land up in a job as soon as I graduate, right? All of those points have got addressed. Net, if I can summarize it, opportunities in Germany are brilliant, right? They let you work as a student to supplement your costs. They let you find a job for up to 18 months, a lot of time. And then they give you opportunity to work with a visa, which in its restricted form lets you work within Germany. And through the Blue Card lets you find job opportunities and like part-time, period employment opportunities outside Germany if you choose to. Then you can become a permanent resident in as low as probably 1 year and 9 months from the time you started working. And in 8+ years, you can aspire to become a citizen of Germany, right? So these are the things. So Germany's got lots of opportunities in terms of attracting people with skills and talents, right? Subscribe to this channel, right? Click the subscribe button. If you enjoyed watching this had been informative, click the like button, turn on notifications of this video. Follow us on these social media platforms. On Pinterest and Facebook, our handle is myadmit. On Instagram and Twitter, our handle is myadmitpro. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any comments, if you have any queries, just post it in this comments box. And also, you can send us a WhatsApp with any of your queries to this number 81389 48484. Best wishes with all of your higher education endeavors.